Yeah, I have a broken sternum. I had 5 broken ribs, 5 compressed discs. That still make it hard for me to sit or stand for real long. And then a concussion. I was probably out about somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes. I was working late in my office. It got to be 10 o'clock, and I'm a regular bike commuter, so I turned on my headlights. I had 2 headlights and 2 taillights, one on my pannier and one on the seat post. And I had a reflective vest like a construction worker wears and a reflective windbreaker. It was kind of cold. And the last thing I remember is making the left turn onto Aycock and starting to ride up this little incline. Then the next thing I knew was I was getting woken up in the EMT van. And they were joking about how I probably wasn't going to ride that bike again, and I'd flown 35 feet. But they told me I was going to be okay, and so that was good. Soon after, I learned that the woman had been text messaging, and I just shook my head and said, why me? The only thing she was charged with was failing to reduce speed. She didn't even lose a point on her driver's license for that. I actually do some bicycle research, and I've looked at databases of these reports, and there's many times where, it seems pretty clear to me they could have said it was the motorist's fault, and they didn't say anything. And so I would hope they would do a thorough accident report and give the cyclist credit when we do things right.
We really rely on law enforcement to enforce the motor vehicle laws fairly. In North Carolina, as in most other states, bicycles are vehicles with the same rights and responsibilities as other highway users. But for people to take that seriously, there needs to be enforcement of those laws. If cyclists are riding the wrong way, they need to be warned and ticketed. And if motorists are cutting cyclists off or causing crashes, then they need to be punished and fined and ticketed just as they would if they hit another motor vehicle. Each year in North Carolina, more than 1,000 cyclists are involved in crashes with motor vehicles. Now, these are the crashes that are reported to the police or to law enforcement. There are many more crashes that go unreported. Yet many of these, if not most of them, could be prevented if motorists and bicyclists understood the law and were encouraged to do so through proper enforcement. North Carolina also has a program called Share the Road. This program was designed to encourage motorists and bicyclists to use the road safely and properly.
The GSO Shares the Road is our new website, which is a one-stop shopping for everything bicycle in Greensboro. It's got safety tips for bicyclists and motorists. And the reason we chose this was we thought it was really important to get the education out to not just bicyclists, but to bicyclists and motorists. So there are tips on there for how motorists should be driving when they're near bicycles, how bicyclists should be behaving when they're on the street. So we realize that it's not just one side or the other, that it's everyone sharing the road together. I think the biggest message for law enforcement is that bicycles are vehicles, and they need to be treated as vehicles. They need to be treated that way by motorists and by law enforcement.
Well, I think the biggest things are like what happened in my case, motorists not paying attention, text messaging, drunk drivers. I mean, that's what kills us.
With more bicyclists on the road, we need a concerted effort between the education community and law enforcement to make sure that motorists and bicyclists know what the law is and that they are encouraged to obey the law and to ride safely.